Hey everyone, Rob here. Just a real quick message at the top of the show. Unfortunately, we had a little trouble with our video camera, so this month's preview is audio only. Really sorry for those of you who are missing our pretty faces, but we'll be back with another video next month and hopefully be able to sort that out. Anyway, on with the show! Hey everybody, welcome to ABA Inside Track, the February Preview Edition. I'm your host, Robert Perry Cruz, and with me as always are my fabulous co-hosts.
Hello, Rob, it's Diana.
And it's me, Jackie.
I don't know if the resolution's good enough on the camera.
Oh, well, it's got my name on my cup, so I know that it's mine.
Welcome to ABA Inside. I almost said ABAI, but that would be wrong.
No.
ABA
You're not
Inside
there.
Track. We're not affiliated with ABA Inside Track's February Preview. That's right. We are a behavior analysis podcast. Every week, or almost every week, we look at behavior analytic research and we discuss it on a certain topic. Now, for those of you who've been watching or listening to the show for a while now, well, we are going to be trying something a little new for the next few months. We're going to see how it goes. For those of you who are new to the show, then don't worry about it. This is just always how it is, and think less of it. We used to do kind of a preview episode, these little preview videos where we sort of talk about our upcoming episode. But we decided, you know what? We have been kind of getting in the groove of how to make these episodes work. So we thought, let's try doing one preview and talk about what we'll be doing for the whole month. Because honestly, it takes almost as long to do editing for these little mini episodes than it does for the full-length episodes sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. So we said, you know what? Let's just do more research, more topics, and have more episodes per month. And then just one of these episodes. So we'll see how long we can keep this up before it becomes overwhelming and we go back to the old method. But at least for February, we are going to be doing just one preview and then 3 episodes in a row.
Woo-hoo! You guys are going to miss our faces, but don't worry, you can still hear our voices.
That's right.
That's right, yes.
Yeah.
So you probably want to know, those of you who are watching this, what should we expect from ABA Inside Track coming up in the month of February? And I want to tell you, I do. So I will.
Nice.
What is it, Rob?
Well, the first topic we'll be doing is acceptance and commitment training. We have a special guest. We have Dr. Adam Hahs, who will be leading us through the process of discussing research related to acceptance and commitment therapy. We have a number of articles that we will be reviewing. Look, this is like all the articles for
So many.
It's a lot. The first one is Embracing Your Demons, an overview of acceptance and commitment therapy by Russell Harris from Psychotherapy in Australia, 2006. Then we'll be talking about evaluating the effects of acceptance and commitment training on the overt behavior of parents of children with autism by Gould, Tarbox, and Coyne from the Journal of Contextual Behavioral Science, 2018.
Fresh.
And even fresher, randomized controlled trial of a brief acceptance and commitment training for parents of individuals diagnosed with autism spectrum disorders by Hahs, Dixon, and Palilunas. And that's also in the Journal of Contextual Behavioral Science in press. So you might not be able to get it. Sorry, suckers.
Adam talks all about it, though.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
You'll feel like you read it.
Yeah.
And then look, I was so inspired, I went and bought this book by Russ Harris on acceptance and commitment therapy. And I have not read it yet, but I plan to read it.
Quick start guide.
I was very interested in learning more. I'm the behavior therapy.
I'm going into mime school,
thing.
you guys.
Oh, are you now?
I am.
All right. So that is the first topic. Our next one. This is the longest.
Yeah.
Episode 75.
Episode 75. ACT.
Then
that was a listener request.
Oh, that's right.
So we were listening to you when you said, hey, you have never had an episode on ACT. And we said, hey, we don't know anything about ACT.
Right, but now we know more.
And so that's why we found someone who knew something just like you're supposed to, and we talked to them about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, that was our first episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you are interested in but suggesting an episode for us to discuss, you can always email us at abainsidetrack@gmail.com.
Sure.
And you know what? Fact, we will listen. We will read your email and we will take it under advisement.
And respond.
I think we even did What did we do that one time? Someone asked, and it took us a year, but we finally got around to...
Condition motivating operations.
Yeah, condition motivating operations. We did it!
That's
we did
episode 42.
Took a long time. It was asked around episode 2, I think someone asked us, and by 42, we were ready. We were a little faster with ACT. The next topic we'll be talking about is one that was near and dear to my heart. It was gamification.
Ooh.
Because I do love games.
He does.
And I love fication.
He does.
So I put them together, and we got gamification, which turned out to be a real thing. I thought I was making something up, but nope, it's real. Gamification. So we have 4 articles we'll be discussing in that episode, because as you'll find out, gamification is a crazy kind of new field. The first is gamification, the intersection between behavior analysis and game design technologies by Morford, Witz, Killingsworth, and Alavosius. And that's in the Behavior Analyst 2014.
I really liked that one.
Me too. It was one of my favorites.
It was a very good review. Then we'll be also reading. We read it, and then we'll be discussing, does gamification work? A literature review of empirical studies on gamification by Hamari, Koivisto, and Sarsa. And that was actually a presentation at the 2014 47th Hawaii International Conference on Systems Science.
Oh.
We'll also be reviewing how gamification motivates, an experimental study of the effects of specific game design elements on psychological need satisfaction by Saylor, Hentz, Mayer, and Mandel. And that's in Computers in Human Behavior from 2017. And then we'll be kind of going back a little bit in time as we find out actually pre the term gamification, and reviewing Fogel, Miltenberger, Graves, and Kohler's. Uh-oh. They sent me to the bottom. Now I gotta scroll to the top.
Scrolling. Get your thumb rolling.
The effects of exergaming on physical activity among inactive children in a physical education classroom. And that was in the Journal of Applied Behavior Analysis 2010. And those will be our episodes on...
So that's 76.
Our episode on gamification.
Oh my gosh, and there's one more?
I actually don't even remember what comes next, so I'm very excited.
And it's the last one we recorded, too.
Oh,
What
nice.
could it be?
Oh, I know.
Do you know? You want to say what it is, Jackie?
I think.
Our last for the month, our last episode for the month. Like
I
literally
do. I remember what it was.
recorded
I
this
don't.
less than a week ago.
I don't know.
It's public speaking.
Oh, yeah. Public speaking.
Yeah, public speaking.
And you get to learn that I'm a horrible public speaker. I used to be anyway.
There's a whole anecdote about
Yeah.
it. And we'll be reviewing a few articles, 3 to be exact. The first is Behavior Analyst to the Front, a 15-step tutorial on public speaking by Dr. Pat Fryman, and that was in the Behavior Analyst 2014. It was a good year for the Behavior Analyst, apparently.
Sure was.
So good.
Then we'll be taking the Wayback Machine, which, again, is a joke that I feel like I used both in the episode and just now.
Several times.
You
Yeah.
can tell when I edited these and when we're recording these.
Is that from Sherman?
The Wayback Machine? Yeah, it's Peabody, Mr. Peabody, and Sherman. I think so, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
continue.
Training Public Speaking Behavior, an Experimental Analysis and Social Validation by Fawcett and Miller from the Journal of Applied Behavior Analysis, 1975. And the final article, Black and Martins, a component analysis of public speaking behaviors across individuals and behavioral categories, and that's in Communication Education, 1980.
Woo! I was born in 1980.
Were you?
Yep.
That's good to know.
Thanks.
I awkwardly say.
Great year, everyone.
Cool.
Great year 1980 was.
It was.
So that's going to be episode 77.
Yeah.
Public speaking.
Yep. And so that
We
will
got a lot
take
going
us
on.
through the month of February. 3 episodes. And we'll probably do the same thing for March because we already have a lot of that lined up.
Mm-hmm. We're
Got
trying to be ahead of ourselves instead of behind ourselves.
We've always tried to be ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
I think we're finally at a point where we can get ahead of ourselves.
Isn't it nice?
Well,
Ever-
we do love doing this podcast.
We do.
We love the research. We love the discussion. I think one of the things that has made us really get through some of the times like, oh, do you want to read articles? Oh, do you want to record? Has been that we hear from a lot of people who listen to the show. And
Yeah.
honestly, their positive words really do keep us moving along.
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, if you're new to the show, we're going to move into a section we like to call Errata. And this is a section where if folks write in or leave comments on the website or our YouTube page or review on Apple Podcasts or anywhere, we share some of the ones, they have questions or things that just kind of made us smile. A lot of these make us smile, but so we're just going to share a few of those right here in the errata section.
And anytime anyone thinks that we've done something wrong, we are open
Yes.
to suggestions,
Yes.
and we have taken that feedback
You can write that in.
as much as possible. Yeah. Too. That's also part of errata.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
Fact.
But what we have to talk about today are some varying emails from folks.
Okay.
And the first one is actually not an email. It's a comment on the episode from the website.
Oh!
Which you can do. There's a spot on the website underneath each episode for comments.
That's right.
Crazy
you can listen through
Yeah.
your podcast apps, or you can just go directly to our website and listen there. You can also go to YouTube, and all of our episodes get posted there.
Cool.
And yes, and you can watch the episode with the captioning on.
Yes, that
on
is
YouTube as well.
That is a positive. We don't know how good the caption is. When we tested it out, it seemed pretty strong. It's very hard to getting transcriptions of episodes. We looked into it. It seemed like a really awesome idea, but it is prohibitively expensive.
Yes, but YouTube does a good job, pretty good job. So you can certainly check that out if that's helpful to you. So this is a comment on the website from listener Andrea, and she was commenting on episode 30, which is our episode on prompting. And I'm just going to sort of, I almost said plagiarize, but I meant to say summarize. I'm just going to summarize.
I'm going to plagiarize
I'm
Andrea.
so sorry, Andrea.
Sorry, Andrea.
What she said. So the prompting episode talks about some varying prompting, like using least to most versus most to least. And then also this different type of prompt called the no-no prompt, which you guys remember recording this. We didn't know that much about the no-no prompts, and we talked about it at length in that episode. And she says back in 2001, she was a discrete trial training instructor, and she used the no-no prompt a good bit. And she talks a little bit about how kind of like a funny prompt it was and what the data collection sheet looks like. And then she said but the problem became that we saw a mass trial was done and the child did not make any progress in responding independently. So she was very surprised by the results that we shared in that article because they found the no-no prompt to be effective. So she says that she's skeptical as she tends to use errorless teaching, especially with children with significant skill deficits. And she would use least to most prompting with more high-functioning individuals. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Different than what that particular article found, but we also were in agreement that seemed like maybe outlying data.
Sure.
Or there's just not a ton of information on the no-no prompt either. But it was nice to kind of reflect back on that because it was a long time ago that we recorded that episode. And thanks so much, Andrea, for writing in with your comment. It was cool to read and think about that again. All right. I have an email here from Katie. And some of these are short and sweet, but I thought that they would be nice to share.
Yeah.
So this is a listener, Katie. She just said that thanks for making the show. She loves listening and that she has a group of RBTs that she supervises and she has them listen and then they have discussions about the podcast together.
Oh, fun. I wish we were there in the room with them.
Well, we kind of are.
Yeah, that's true.
We're there to get the discussion started and then they take it from there. And I thought that was cool. So that can be a good way to introduce new topics to your RBTs.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Katie, for letting us know that. And then we have listener Claire who wrote in and said that she just listened to the cultural competence episode, which is episode 71 with Dr. Solange Forte. And she really loved it. And she'd like to hear more discussions in this area. She said it would be great to look at ABA and English learners and bilingualism. So thinking about how we should approach language acquisition for bilingual clients or clients for whom English is a second language, but they're being instructed in that language. And I love that idea, Claire. I don't have suggestions right now because I don't think that there is a lot out there in that area.
So one thing when you talk about English language learners or so ELL students is
I'm sorry.
Some of the research facts have to do with you have a lot of students with English as their second language being instructed in English. You'll find in terms of their verbal behavior, their social language will seem perfect a lot faster, especially younger children. They'll learn to speak to other people. They'll be able to interact with others really fluently. But that doesn't correspond necessarily to an ability to fluently use more technical terms. So science terms or fancier English terms. So there is a disconnect.
The fancy ones.
Yeah, there is a disconnect between some of the academic terms.
Sure.
There is a disconnect between the ability of an English language learner to use fluent social verbal behavior and to use verbal behavior that you would see more in the academic setting. So that I wonder if that might be something to look at. Is it inherently have to do with sort of the reinforcing value of social
And
interactions?
those are with learners with autism or without?
Without autism.
Okay. Because
Yes.
it could be different considering that you're talking
It certainly
specifically
could
about
be.
social.
Oh, it certainly could be. But again,
That's good information because I don't
Would
know
that-
a lot about that area.
yeah, would that carry over in terms of, is
Yeah.
there more reinforcement? Therefore, it's easier to, you have more is it just more opportunities? You have more interest. There's motivation to engage in behaviors that allow you to interact socially. Whereas, you just don't have the same opportunities to practice academic learning.
Sure.
There's more response effort to using that language. So you kind of might try to engage in some like minor avoidance, not like, I'm leaving class, but
Right.
I'm not going to engage in this conversation where I can practice using this term. I wonder.
I think it also might be cool to look at internal verbal behavior of bilingual learners.
Mhm.
Because when I always
But
talk...
hard.
Yeah, but very difficult. Yes, I
A
know.
lot of self-report there.
Yeah.
Like, how are you saying that in
But-
your head?
But wouldn't that be neat to think about, like to talk about when are they thinking in English? When are they thinking
Well,
in...
my French teacher would always tell us once you are dreaming in your second language, that's when you're really fluent in it.
Oh, I've never dreamt in French. So
No. Mais non.
so je suis la jeune fille. I watched Muzzy. Do you remember that?
We did a whole
My French
episode
teacher would
about
get
up- I
how
know.
we watch Muzzy in Tele Français. Or whatever.
My French teacher would get up and say, Je danse la table. And that was all I understood.
Well,
'cause
there
he
you
was
go.
standing on the table dancing.
Ah.
Okay, listener Janine wrote into us just a short and sweet email to brighten our day and say that she loves listening. She has a small consultation company, so she's in the car all the time. And she said, our podcasts reset her brain and make her feel smarter.
Wow.
So,
Thanks.
Janine, that was just sweet of you to write in. Thank you so much for lissing.
Janine, you listen in, you
And
go,
then
man,
she
if these
said-
dum-dums can
she
talk
said-
for an hour,
she-
anyone can do it,
She
right?
said keep SDing.
Aww.
Which is funny.
I like it.
And then finally, listener Rebecca wrote in to us and said she works with clients who are transitioning into adulthood. And that is such an important population to work with. So we do have a few episodes that address that specific population,
Mm-hmm.
Rebecca, but there's a lot more work out there that needs to be done.
Right.
And then she also said that she really appreciated our episode on matrix training, which was episode 49 with Cormac McManus. If you guys want to listen to that. She said it was so hard to picture what those types of studies look like just by reading the literature. So hearing someone talk through it was really helpful and helped her get through that part of grad school.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Rebecca, for writing in. And thanks
Thank
for
you,
listening,
Rebecca.
everybody. That's it.
Cool.
All right.
Wow, we did it.
Well, I think
No, we're not done.
We're not
No,
done.
we're not
Never mind.
done.
I forgot
Oh,
what
we're
we
not
gonna do.
done. I want to make some shout outs.
Okay.
I want to make a shout out that next month, in the month of March 28th and 29th, there is an amazing conference in Connecticut that
Oh, yes.
I think that if you haven't gone to, you probably should. It's called the Behavior Analyst Leadership Council Conference, BALC. I love that name. And
It's like
it's
trying to say the word chalk.
yeah,
Ooh,
BALC.
that's not how it's now.
So it's a nice small conference if you want to get up close and personal with the invited speakers. I know that Dr. Forte, Salandi's going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
The Peter
Bridget
Gerhardt,
Taylor.
Bridget Taylor.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of big name speakers that will be there that you could meet because it's one of those smaller
They call
conferences.
that a boutique.
Oh, it's a
conference.
boutique conference. But last year they had close to 600 attendees, so it's
Wow.
not that small.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
It's
not
not
that
like
boutique.
10 people. It's not secret. Like you don't have to go through a secret hallway
The
to get
password,
inside.
yeah.
But yes,
That would be fun, though.
that would be fun, right? Like, what's the secret password? ABA is great.
Skinner.
You're in. Yeah, so I think that you should check out that conference, the BALC conference, on March 28th and 29th.
It's in Connecticut. Did we
In
say that part?
Connecticut. Yep, I
Okay,
did.
sorry.
Diane and I will also be at the APBA conference in April. That's in Atlanta,
Hot
Georgia.
Atlanta.
Hot Atlanta. So we'll be there. You can find us. And then we'll also be at ABAI in May. We're taking our rounds.
In
You two will be-
Chicago.
Yeah.
I'll be nowhere. I'll be here, holding down the fort.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks,
Yep.
Rob.
Appreciate
It's
it.
all right.
Rob's also watching My Child. I'm just kidding. Wouldn't that be awesome? We're putting all the kids in one house. But yeah, so make sure you
Yeah,
check
lots
out
of fun stuff.
the BALC conference in March,
Mhm.
APBA in April, and ABAI in May.
Try to remember to put some links. You know, I think our last episode we had one for the BALC conference.
I think you should probably have one for the BALC
link.
too. And
I'll throw that up there.
Yeah, maybe only the BALC conference one.
That's coming up pretty soon.
That's the next available.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
All right.
Cool.
That's everything.
That's
right?
everything.
All we
I don't
wanted
know.
to
Do we want to talk about our contest?
Oh,
our
yes.
ill-defined contest that you thought of right before we
Our
started recording?
ill-defined
Diana, go
conference.
for it.
Go, Diana, go.
Why not?
Okay, so I had this idea because we made some really cool looking t-shirts on our merch. Teespring.
TeePublic.
Ooh, TeePublic website. And they have a cool baseball logo, which some of you guys probably saw in a post, I think, at one point. But I thought it would be fun if we had a giveaway for some of those. So
giveaway!
One thing that we're always looking for is for people to leave reviews on Apple Podcast. Those are useful because we like hearing positive things, but also...
We like hearing any feedback at all.
Any feedback.
Okay, fine. But also because the more reviews that people leave, the easier it is for people to find your show when they search on there. So what we thought is that we would ask you guys out there, if you are enjoying the show, to leave us a review on Apple Podcast, and then we would go through and look at the February reviews.
All of them.
And then select at random a couple people, and we will let you guys know in the next episode, whatever your handle is on Apple Pod, we'll announce those, and whoever gets selected can get a t-shirt, and we'll find out your size and we'll send it to you
for free.
Yeah.
And we'll write a cool little note in there like, hey, it's us.
Yeah, we'll give you a signed headshot too. Yeah.
So that's the giveaway. Leave us a review on Apple Podcast, and then
get a t-shirt.
Be randomly selected for a t-shirt.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
And we love reviews anywhere you can write them, but it is hit or miss with a lot of the podcast apps and places where you can leave reviews or put reviews. So honestly, we appreciate anyone to leave us a review, but Apple Podcast is the only one that we can kind of easily aggregate to do this
Not
for.
Even easy, but it's at least.
Well, yeah, sometimes it doesn't even show up on the phones, so
manageable.
we'll do our best. They're somewhere. We can
That's
find them
all
somewhere.
now. I'm done.
Okay, great.
Just kidding. I have one more thing.
What's the one more thing?
We like you.
Oh, okay.
We like you. We like you, listeners.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, well, that brings us to the end of our January. No, it's not January. Our February preview episode. We'll be back next week with our full-length episode. In the meantime, please feel free to find us everywhere, to subscribe, to like us, to leave us reviews on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. You can find us online as ABA Inside Track. We're on all the social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as ABA Inside Track, and that includes our YouTube page where you can listen to our episodes with the subtitles or with the captioning on. You reminded me, Diana, that when we tested those out, if one of us is talking about the research, which is, the most important part of the episode, they looked really good. It was only when we started messing around and talking about a bunch of garbage unrelated, we got on a tangent. That's when they get a little spotty. But you know what? Who cares? You don't need to listen to us joke around. It's mostly the content that you want, right? Good BCBAs. And then email us, if you'd like, at abainsidetrack@gmail.com. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the episode. Well, like I said, we'll be back next week with a full-length episode and back every week after in February.
Full-length episode.
But until then, keep responding. Bye!
See you in March.